Significant drop in President Duterte's ratings, Malacanang says majority of Filipinos are still pleased with what he's doing. No more expiration dates on gift checks, thanks to a bill approved by lawmakers from the Senate and the House. And find out how a Filipino singer secures a seat in the next round of X Factor UK. It's the biggest drop in the trust and satisfaction ratings of President Rodrigo Duterte. Malacanang offers an explanation to this steep decline. Our senior correspondent Ina Andalong has more.
It's the biggest drop in the president's rating since he took office. Net satisfaction scores down by 18 points. Net trust numbers down by 15 points. But Malacanang is not bothered.
These things usually happen. This is traditionally happening after a year or year and a half. And the love is still there.
Presidential spokesman Ernesto Abella isn't disputing the data. Instead, he expresses a level of understanding on the results. President Duterte's net satisfaction rating fell in Metro Manila, Luzon, and the Visayas, and stayed steady in Mindanao. His rating remained very good among social classes A, B, and C, but it dropped to good in social classes D and E. Abella is shrugging off the idea this may reflect the view that the drug war is targeting the poor. Rather, he says it's understandable as the poor are most affected by any form of delay in delivery of services. Senators have different takes on the matter.
It's up to the president now if is that important to him or not. Whether he's doing right or wrong, ang tingin niya, kung tama ang ginagawa niya, tutuloy pa rin niya yan. Ang tingin niya, tama yung ginagawa niya.
Hindi dapat ito take for granted ng Malacanang at ng ating presidente. Sana wake-up call na po ito na baguhin na yung ating war on drugs, baguhin yung mga strategy dyan, at itigil na po yung patayan sa ating mga kalsada.
Kung titingnan natin yung bagsak ng investment sa ating bansa, 90% ang bagsak. Hindi ito po reflection din ng confidence ng investors sa ating bansa.
His scores may be down, but Malacanang says the numbers show majority of Filipinos are still pleased with what the president is doing.
Pasensya lang kung hindi medyo satisfied ang publiko ngayon. Well, we will improve. We will improve. Promise.
Walang dudang may mantsa na ang reputasyon ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte ayon kay Senadora RISA Hontiveros. Patunay daw dito ang 18 puntos na ibinagsak sa satisfaction rating ng Pangulo.
Yung pagbaba ng 2-digit na pagbabago, statistically significant po yan at nagpapakita ng damage sa reputasyon ni Presidente. Tanda ng malalim at lumalawak na diskontento ng tao, lalo na sa mga usapin ng extrajudicial killings.
Masaya naman daw si Senador Antonio Trillanes dahil naliliwanagan na ang mga Pilipino sa tunay daw na pagkatao ni Pangulong Duterte na di umano'y sinungaling, kurakot, mapang-api at wala raw alam sa pagpapatakbo ng bansa. Tingin pa ni Senate Minority Leader Franklin DRILON, kagagawan din daw ng administrasyon anuman ang resulta ng survey.
The government better take a second look at their policies and the way they enforce the policies. Dahil kundi walang pagbabago sa mga susunod na survey, baka patuloy ito.
Ayon kay Senator Ping Lacson, normal na lumalabnaw na ang excitement lalo tapos na raw ang honeymoon period ng Administrasyong Duterte. Pero nakakabahala pa rin daw ang resulta ng survey.
They should consider when they do their messaging. Kasi a lot has to do with messaging, di ba? And yung department na medyo yung nakaraang 1.5 years or so, medyo carefree yung presidente, hindi ba? Hindi para bang he didn't care at all.
Payo ni Senate Majority Leader Tito Soto, magandang pag-aralan saan napunta ang nabawas na puntos na satisfied at nagtitiwala sa Pangulo.
Pag nagpunta sa disapproval, mahirap ibalik sa approval yun. Pero pag nagpunta sa undecided, ang daling ibalik sa approval yun.
Abella says unlike other politicians, ratings are not very important for President Duterte. While the president does see these as indicators of how people see him, his spokesman says these aren't enough to prompt the president to change his strategy, more so stop him from making unpopular moves if he needs to. Ina Andalong, CNN Philippines.
CNN Philippines spoke with Social Weather Stations Director Leo La Rosa. He says a decline in presidential satisfaction and trust ratings after a year is a normal phenomenon.
Period. It's a normal phenomenon for all past presidents and to have a fluctuating net satisfaction rating and even trust rating. That's the normal phenomenon for all governance and for all administration. No one is exempt from the downward trend. So yes, this is the first time we're seeing a double-digit decline in the President Duterte's net satisfaction rating. And we consider this a one-grade decline from the very good to good. A single-digit decline in the satisfaction rating does not mean that it's the end of a honeymoon. So there are many possibilities, specifically three. It could recover, or it could maintain, which is not so bad because that's it's still a good rating. Or if you have 3 consecutive surveys pointing to a general downward direction, then that's the time you would start thinking.
And that's what Frank DRILON is saying. Now, we can't see a pattern now. Let's look at the pattern after 2 survey cycles.
True.
Kumbaga, no?
True. A trend, if you have 3 points, with the, it can show you a direction already at 3 points, but fluctuations like this, that's very normal.
President Rodrigo Duterte ordered the dismissal of 2 senior police officials for their alleged inaction on illegal drug trade in their areas. Presidential spokesperson Ernesto Abella says the president ordered the dismissal of Director Joel Pagdilao, former Metro Manila Police Chief, and Chief Superintendent Edgardo Tino, former Quezon City Police District Chief. Pagdilao and Tino were relieved in July last year after the president included them in the so-called narco generals list. Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea signed their dismissal orders on October 5th.
Evidence shows that both generals deliberately refused without cause to perform their duties as police officers, resulting in the proliferation of the drug trade in their areas of jurisdiction, thus the president's decision.
The president also ordered the dismissal of Energy Regulatory Commission Chairman Jose Vicente Salazar. CNN Philippines obtained a copy of the dismissal order signed by Medialdea on October 6th. The order states Salazar was found guilty of bid rigging and threatening ERC commissioners and officers in relation to investigations. Salazar denied all the charges. The late ERC director June Villa accused Salazar of anomalies. He committed suicide last year. His sister, broadcaster Chari Villa, says her brother can finally rest in peace. PNP Chief Ronald De La Rosa responds to government critics disputing the police's statement that there are no extrajudicial killings or EJKs under the Duterte administration. De La Rosa says critics only want to label killings as EJKs for propaganda purposes.
Ito mga kritiko natin, ngayon na hindi na sila sa power, iba na yung upo ngayon, gusto nilang baguhin yung meaning ng EJK. Kung balik ko sa kanilang tanong, yung paglabel ng killing na as EJK, hindi pa yung propaganda. That's also their propaganda. Pasirain yung gobyerno. These critics want to arouse the sentiment of the public to go against the government. It's very obvious.
De La Rosa also asks for understanding after he called critics of the government's war on drugs ingrato or ingrates. He admits it was just his honest reaction.
Hindi ako plastic. Sabihin mo na nag-flare up ako. Yes, nag-flare up ako. Pero masakit sa akin yung ganun na palagi sinasabi. Normal lang ako. Hindi ako plastic. Hindi ako politiko na magpapapakyut sa inyo.
De La Rosa earlier chided critics, saying they were ungrateful, considering they were benefiting from the peace and order brought about by the anti-drug campaign. Several lawmakers took a swipe at the PNP chief in response to his remarks. Our breaking news. One of the suspects in the hazing death case of Acho Castillo, Ralph Cabales Trangia, is expected to arrive in the country tomorrow. We now have on the line Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre. Good evening, sir. Thank you for taking our call tonight.
Yeah, good evening. Yes.
Secretary, we know this is very fresh news, but what do we know so far? What information do you have about this?
Well, we were informed by TECO, our immigration attaché Fred Wang to inform the Bureau of Immigration that Ralph Tanja has boarded EVA Air flight BR055 to Taipei en route to Manila via BR271, which will depart Taipei tomorrow at 9:20.
Okay, and Secretary, would you know if he will be with his mother?
We don't know, but we were informed by immigration authorities that they will make sure that Ralph Tanja will board the said flight, and the estimated time for arrival will be around 11:20 in the morning.
So, Secretary, you mentioned he was in Taipei. Did he come from the U.S.? Did he come from another country, and he's on transfer through Taipei?
He's coming from Chicago and will arrive in Taipei at around and we leave Taipei around 9:20.
Okay, so coming from Chicago, would you know, Secretary, if he voluntarily decided to return, or was he deported?
We were informed before, and by the U.S. authorities that they, if we want, they could start the deportation proceedings against Tanja. So I believe that since we were informed of it only yesterday, so he might, instead of facing the deportation proceedings in the U.S., he might have voluntarily
surrendered or
returned to the Philippines.
Okay. And is there any sort of manifestation from him that he will cooperate on this case to provide all the information necessary on the case of Acho Castillo?
Well, we have no information, but of course we'll inform the NBI or the Manila Police Department of his arrival so that they could invite him for questioning. We know that there is an ongoing preliminary investigation, although there is no warrant of arrest. And we'll provide Mr. Tanja with security if he asks for it.
Okay. Well, obviously people have been following the story very closely, and we know he will be in demand. What do you expect in terms of security? What kind of security will you be providing tomorrow?
Well, we are not informed of any grave threats about this person, but of course we have to be sure about it. So in the event that he wanted to be given security, then we'll provide the security he will be asking for.
Okay. Secretary, going back to the information that Tanja is in transit through Taiwan, where did you get this information? Did you contact the Taiwanese embassy, or did it come from Taiwan, or did they bring the information to the Philippines?
It comes from our office in TECO, and it is the airline that informed it, and TECO informed, in turn, our Bureau of Immigration.
Okay. And Secretary, what do you expect to happen tomorrow upon the arrival of Ralph Tanja? Will he be arrested? Will a warrant of arrest be served?
Since it's only preliminary investigation and there's no warrant of arrest issued against him, so what will be, we could expect that some MBA agents or policemen from the Manila Police Department will be waiting for him, and perhaps they will be asking for time within which to investigate or interview him, and after which we expect no arrest. Since there is no warrant of arrest issued against him.
So you expect the investigation, the questioning to take place immediately once he arrives in Manila tomorrow?
I don't believe so. Perhaps they will just set an appointed time for his invitation.
All right. And we do hope to get more information from you then tomorrow, sir. Thank you very much, Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre, for joining us tonight.
Okay. Thank you, too.
Again, we just spoke to Secretary Aguirre there about the breaking news tonight that one of the suspects in the hazing death of Acho Castillo III, Ralph Cabales Tanja, will be arriving in Manila tomorrow, coming from Chicago and transiting through Taiwan, Taipei, Taiwan. And he will be arriving tomorrow via EVA Air. And Secretary Aguirre said that a warrant of arrest will not be served, but they expect that he will probably be questioned a little bit. And if Changia does request for security, then the Department of Justice is willing to grant that. This is a developing story once again, and we are gathering a lot of information on this. We are following this very closely, and we will bring this story to you also tomorrow once Changia does arrive in the country. We'll bring you more information as that becomes available. It's from the University of Cebu dominate this year's Naval Architect and Marine Engineer Board exam. 12 passers made it to the top 10, all of them from UC. The top-notchers are led by JV Albarando, who got a rating of 89.80%. Both Kit Bontor and Charis Talio also made it to the top 10. Only 51 out of 117 examinees passed this year's exam. According to the Professional Regulation Commission, or PRC, naval architecture is one of the programs with less number of examinees being administered by the Commission. The University of Cebu is now among the top trending topics on Twitter Philippines following the release of the board exam results. Heads up, Meralco customers, expect a slight increase in your October bills. The power distributor is raising rates by around 3 centavos per kilowatt hour. That means a typical household consuming 200 kilowatt hours will pay an additional 6 pesos for the month. The rise in charges is caused by higher generation charge. Consumers will soon be able to use gift checks or gift certificates without expiration dates. A bicameral committee just approved the proposed Gift Check Act. Senator Mig Zubiri says lawmakers hope to ratify it this week before the session adjourns. They're also hoping President Duterte will sign it before December. When that happens, gift checks can be spent even years after receiving them. Zubiri says the law will be retroactive. That means gift checks with expiry dates that were already given or distributed will be covered.
It's like money. You buy it, it's monetized. Therefore, you should be able to utilize the gift check for whenever you want to utilize it. Unlike what has happened in the past, we've received complaints together with the DTI has told us that marami po nakabili ng gift check, nakalimutan gamitin, pero 1 year lang ang effectivity ng gift check. Sayang naman ang binayaran nilang 10,000 worth, 100,000 worth. Hindi naman tama yun.
Violators will pay up to 1 million pesos. Their promotional activities of gift check privileges will also be suspended. The bill doesn't cover discount coupons and vouchers.
Kahit madaling araw, hataw na hataw sa pagsayaw si Sander Ford. Lumevel up na raw talaga ang kanyang confidence matapos maritoke. Pero pag-amin ng 20-year-old internet sensation, hindi niya ito ipinaalam sa kanyang mga magulang.
Kasi kung lagi sinasabi ng mama ko na dapat mahalin mo yan, yun ang binigay sa'yo ng Panginoon. Sabi ko sa magulang ko, ma, alam ko naman po yun na bigay ng Panginoon. Pero hindi naman sinabi ng Panginoon na huwag kong gawin yung kung ano yung ikakasaya ko.
Hindi naman daw kinasusuklaman ni Sander ang dati niyang image bilang si Marlu Arizala. Ginawa niya raw ang makeover para sa kanyang fans.
Ang akin lang po, parang gusto ko lang po magbago yung tingin sa akin ng ibang tao. Parang, syempre dahil love nila ako, dahil komedyante ako, mas mamahalin nila ako dahil mas pogi ako na komedyante.
Naging usap-usapan din ang post ng talent manager na si OG Diaz tungkol sa pagiging mayabang umano ni Sander. Bumuelta ang binata na sinisiraan lang siya. Pero sagot ni OG kay Sander, huwag mag-api-apihan. Doon na nagsorry si Sander. Aminado siyang may attitude problem minsan, pero ginagawan daw niya ito ng paraan. At higit sa lahat, hindi raw siya masamang tao. Sa text message, kinumpirma ni OG na nagkausap at nagkapatawaran na sila ng kampo ni Sander.
Malaki lang talaga po yung boses ko and ayun, siguro ko na misunderstanding lang po ako ng mga taong nakakarinig. Hindi ko po gagawin yun para lang po maging big star or magpa-star po sa kanila.
Umaaksyon, Laila Chicadora, News 5.
Game ding nakipagkulitan si Sander Ford sa News 5 live kanina. Sunod na project daw ni Sander ang isang libro tungkol sa cyberbullying. Nagpasapo rin ng internet sensation ng super trending na ngayong rendition ng Baby Shark Challenge.
Mommy shark do 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 do, mommy shark do 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 do, mommy shark do 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 do, mommy shark. Grandpa shark do 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 do, grandpa shark do 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 do.